Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tara and I make videos about digital planning and different ways that you can get creative with your iPad. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss a video. That all being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. And in case you missed it in the last video, what we're going to be doing is testing out something new. We're going to be just going over the filled in pages of my planner from the previous month. So each time that I do a monthly layout, I'm going to go over the filled in pages of the month prior. Each time I do a weekly layout, we'll do the week from the month before, and each time I do a daily one, I'll do a review of the daily from the month before. Now, this is something that is totally new, but I know a few people have requested these after the pen videos, and so I thought I would go through and give it a shot. If you guys don't like it, let me know in the comments. If you do like it, let me know in the comments. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into looking at July's weekly spread. So as you guys know, I wanted to include this sort of like memory strip just to add in some photos, and then I made this makeshift habit tracker for my morning routine and my nighttime routine. And so I just kind of checked those off and plugged things in. Notably, I was really bad at remembering to meditate and to read. So that was pretty consistent throughout the month. I was terrible at keeping those things up. Now, I kind of talked about this a little bit when I created my weekly setup, but what I like to do during my week is take all of the concepts that were important to complete during my 2-week sprint, and then to just kind of break them down into the main tasks and also the main scheduled events that are needed for that week. And so that's typically where I'll start, and then any kind of bigger tasks that need to be done are going to be listed here. Now, I'm not going to do everything. I'm not going to write down like which days I'm showering, for example, because that's kind of silly, but any sort of major tasks that need to be done. So for example, this includes like editing and uploading my Plan With Me videos, but that is also a scheduled thing because that needed to be done on that day of that particular week. It was also garbage day, so I had to make sure I took the garbage out, but I also needed to finish designing my stickers. I had a certificate project I was working on and like a planner product that I had to work through as well. But that's essentially what I would do. So I just have, my scheduled things here, and then I break down my major tasks for the day. I don't go into too much detail because that is what I end up putting into my daily plan. If my day is not too hectic, this might be enough for me, but personally, I don't know if it's my ADHD, undiagnosed, or what, but honestly, I swear by my daily trackers. They are the most important thing in order to keep me on task. And so using my weekly and my monthly layout just helps me really to set up a successful day for myself. But that's just me personally. That's the system that works for me. I don't always keep up with doing my meals though, and I think I've mentioned this before. I definitely did not track my water here, which I'm aware my water consumption was not great during that time, so I didn't really fill any of these in. I had more than none, but I definitely wasn't sticking to it to the point that I was happy to be logging my success there. So let's see what else is here. And then on the weekends, I try to make things a little bit lighter, but I still have things that I do or just like general tasks. So I have like a list of things that I wanted to keep in mind and just kind of do if I was bored or if I had any free time. And then a couple tasks like finishing up my laundry and packing up because I was getting ready to leave Belgium during this week. So that's kind of what my week would look like in general. This one's quite organized and quite detailed by having the scheduled and like task columns here. But honestly, I find this extremely helpful. And sometimes if my life's not too particularly crazy, I don't need my daily planner. But I would say most often I gotta use my daily planner. So I'm excited to get into that in the next video. So you'll have to follow along. If you are not subscribed, make sure you do that so that you know when that video comes out. But this week's video is all about our weekly plan. So now that you've seen July, let's go ahead and jump into August. All right, so this is my monthly setup. I will leave a link in the cards if you want to check out that video from before. But let's go ahead and set up this week. So we've got here, let's start with this first full week of August. So the sticker pack that we're going to be using today is the third color palette. And if you are a Patreon subscriber and you are in either the Blossom Bunch tier or above, then you would have received all 3 of my sticker sets as your downloads for the month. And so that would have included this as the third sticker set. I really like these colors. They're very calming, and I think they're going to be perfect to use for my weekly setup. And a little spoiler for my next video, I'm definitely going to be using this color palette for my daily because it's my favorite one. And since I use my daily most often, I always like to choose my favorite color palette for that. But more on that in the next video. All right, so the first thing that I like to do is I like to cover up these elements that I'm not going to be using. So I'm just going to come up here to my elements, and I'm going to scroll through to the folder that I have my elements saved in. And then once I've opened that, I'm just going to put this into place, and it's going to magically cover up these other areas here. So now I have a blank canvas, all except for my little mini calendar and my main weekly spread here. And if you've been watching my videos this year, you've probably seen me use this element as well. So let's pop in the one that adds in the colors here so I don't have to worry about customizing that myself. It's pretty simple. Okay, so adding in this one saves me so much time. If you watched my videos last year, you would have seen I was constantly bringing a layout from Procreate with specific colors, or I was using stickers and having to swap them out every week. So this is a major time saver. And I've just used the highlighter tool in order to draw these out, and then I saved it as an element. And I'll do my best to go back and find the link to the very first video that I did that in, and then I will link that in the cards as well. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is, of course, add in the heading here. So I am going to grab August here, and actually I need to make sure that I turn images on here. And I'm going to select this and copy it. And I'm going to paste this. I'm just going to size this up together. And I'm going to leave the honey on it for now, but there's a chance that I might remove it just because this color palette overall is a bit lighter. That's what we're going to keep for now. I also know that I think I really want to use this one here. I just think it's so cute, and I didn't use it in my monthly spread, so that's going to go somewhere in here. For now, I think maybe just there, but it definitely has the potential to be moved elsewhere. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab this cute little tree sticker here and copy this. And I am going to paste this. And I'm going to use it kind of as like a divider here between the heading and what I'm going to share underneath here. It's been a while since I've made one of these, but I think I might do an Eisenhower matrix. So if you don't know what that is, it's just a really useful tool for helping to prioritize your tasks based on urgency and importance. And so let's do that. I'm going to come to my sticker pack, and I think I'm going to use one of these. I'm just not sure which color I want to do yet. So it's going to end up being a square shape, which means I'll probably have a little bit of space down here, or in theory, I could make it more rectangular. So I'm gonna sit with that idea. I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna decorate the rest of this, and then I'll come back and make my matrix later. So what do I wanna do now? What I'm thinking is that I want to do this Eisenhower matrix idea, but I also want to make sure I have a place for either like putting a photo or something, because you guys know that I like to include photos. I think they're fun to have little memories. So let's find a cute little picture frame. I'm going to use this light green here, and I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste it here. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to add like a little paper clip or something, because it's always fun to do that. So I am going to grab, I think maybe this heart one. I think I'm going to go with the golden one. Copy that. I'm going to come back to my lasso tool, and I'm just going to tap and paste. And I'm going to put this over here, and that'll be really cute once I start to add in photos. And if you do not have Goodnotes 6, my recommendation here is to make sure your images are turned on. Select both of these and add these as an element. And this will just make life easier for you when you decide that you want to add a photo in. So if I just added a random photo, I don't know what I have here. This was a cute inspo photo for some artwork. And so let's just say, let's crop this. I was really loving these vibes. So obviously that's not the right size, but essentially you would just put your photo in here, and then you're gonna have to delete this. But now you can just come into your elements and find that element that you just created, and you can just place it on top. So that's the way that I find it to be easiest when it comes to adding these stickers back in every time that you decide you want to put a photo into your photo frame. So that's just my personal little hack for speeding up that process. However, if you have Goodnotes 6, you don't even have to do that. You can just like press on these and bring them forward. I don't have Goodnotes 6 yet, but I am hoping to finally do that upgrade. I kind of talked myself into it last week, and I just had some technical issues getting it to change over. So fingers crossed, in the future I will switch. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to use the honey here. I'm going to paste this, and I'm going to grab my image tool, and that's just going to give me a little bit of flexibility here, and I'm going to drag this up, or maybe I'll bring it down. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. I'm going to bring it down and just kind of make it like it's dripping off from the bottom line here. Okay, I think that'll be fun for the honey. And then I'm going to grab, let's see, like this jar. I'm gonna copy this and paste it. I'm just gonna like put it here, and I'm gonna move that over using my image tool. Maybe angle it just to make it cute. All right, and then I am going to, I think, possibly grab these two. I'm gonna copy this and bring this over here. And just near the word August and the other dripping honey. And then I'm going to grab, I'm not sure which ones I want to use, so I'm going to grab these ones, and I'm going to copy them all and paste them. Realistically, I probably will want a variety of these that I kind of move around and decorate with, so I'm not going to be super annoyed with them just sitting here in the center for a little while. But I am also going to grab, of course, these cute little trails, the little buzzing trails. And we're just going to paste these here as well. And I know these are really hard to see on camera, but I promise you they're super cute. So I'm going to grab my image tool, and I'm just gonna kind of put this up here. And what I might do, I think I'll put this one up here and maybe make it a little bit smaller. And maybe I'll put another one around here and a smaller one down here. I'm gonna grab this floral one, the cute little bouquet, and I'm gonna paste this. And I want this to also be kind of like right here on the photo. And so actually at this point, if you do have Goodnotes 5, this is the one that I would want to save as my element. Again, not important if you have Goodnotes 6. But basically, yeah, once you're done creating that particular frame the way that you like it, in order to make things easier on yourself, or, you know, each week going forward, you'll want to save the finished product without a photo as an element. Okay, and I really like this particular trail. Again, I know it's hard to see, but it's got a little heart. So I think that one's gonna end up down here, and I think it's gonna get moved up just a little bit. And I'm gonna put, let's see, this one that looks like it's about to land on a flower down here. And I think I'm gonna do something kind of like what I did in my monthly, where I put some flowers down at the bottom here, so it has something that it's going for. And I might move, I don't know, just this bee like right here or something. Okay, so this is actually a pretty simple layout in comparison to what I usually do. So let's go ahead and add this part in and some pollen, and then we'll see what we're gonna fill in for this space here. So let's do the Eisenhower matrix finally. I think I'm gonna use the dark green here. So I'm gonna take this cute plaid or buffalo checked pattern, I'm gonna copy it and I'm gonna paste it here. And then using my image tool, just so I have more control with editing this, I'm going to drag out from the corner, and we're gonna fit this in here as a nice little square. And I'm just kind of giving a decent amount of space here and an even amount on the left and right sides, and then a little bit of space here at the top. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a background color element. And so I have one saved, but you can also use your lasso tool and draw, it doesn't really matter what shape, but anywhere on your background. And you can tap and take a screenshot. And then from here, you can just copy and paste this. So I also have one saved in my elements. accents that I use pretty frequently whenever I want to customize my planner. And so that's what I'm going to grab right now. And it's just this background color square. And then I can take my image tool and I can size this however I would like. And so realistically what I want is 4 quadrants. And so I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And I always like to leave a little bit of room at the top and the side for me to write like urgency and importance. So the first thing I'm going to do though is take my pen tool and I'm going to create some guides for myself. So I am going to have this as like my border. I'm going to erase these lines later, but this is where I'm going to write my title. This is where I'm going to write the other title or the heading on this side. And then I need to be able to fit 2 on each side. So I want to kind of divide this space in half. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half rows. And so I need like 5 1/4 rows is how, or columns is how thick this should be. So let's see, what is it this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a little, about a half as well. So it's going to be very similar. So these need to line up with this corner first, and they need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4 in size. Now it's a little bit hard to do because Goodnotes size is from the middle, but you'll just kind of eyeball it the best that you can. And then that feels like that is not going to fit double on the side, will it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe let's make it just a little bit smaller. And I'm going to move it up to the top of this orange line. And we are just going to tap off of it and then tap back on so we can copy it at its existing size. And let's just paste and kind of see, is that good enough? I think that'll be fine. Maybe if we move this shape up just a tiny bit and move this one up also just a tiny bit. Okay, so then I'm going to copy this and paste it one more time. And we're gonna move it over here and just try to keep this gap pretty similar between these two. And line that up the best that we can. And we're going to paste one more time and then line these up. And I can take my eraser tool, erase these 2 lines. And I think that looks pretty solid. What I might do is just try to move that over just a hair. And that is much better in my opinion. And then I am just going to take my brush pen. And I'm going to use, let's see, I have my colors loaded up here. We're going to try this lighter color and see if that'll be good enough. I think it'll be fine. And I will leave my colors up here at the top as well in case you need to pause and add in the hex codes. Let's write the word first. So I want to write important. And then urgent. Oh, urgent's going to be really hard. Why don't I write urgent like this? And then I can use my lasso tool with handwriting only selected. And I'm just gonna try to rotate this. So let's resize it and rotate it, but try not to change the size too much. Let's see, I'm gonna put it down here and I'm gonna move this one over. And now we'll just draw our arrows. And so this arrow here is gonna be becoming more urgent. And then this arrow here is gonna be more important. And I'm just holding the pen and letting it snap. Okay, and there we go. We've got a couple cute arrows. And now in this space, basically, when I go to my weekly plan, I can figure out what are the most important things, but also if I have any other tasks that would normally be filled in, I can kind of list them all out and then I can see what's most important and I can prioritize the most important things early on in the week. So what I would do is I would start with my Eisenhower matrix and then I would use that to further fill in the rest of my planner. So I would use that for my weekly setup in order to choose what to do. I think it's always nice for me at least to front load my week. So I do a lot of scheduling on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I'll do lighter days on Thursday and Friday so that I know that I will inevitably not complete everything that I set out to do on Monday through Wednesday, and I can use those tasks to kind of fill in Thursday and Friday, but the urgent and most important things need to be up front. So that's one way to use this tool. I also really love to use this tool in my daily dailies because I tend to get bogged down by a lot of activities and lots of things on my to-do list. And so having something like this that just reminds me to prioritize properly is a very helpful tool. But it really just depends on the month when I decide to use this. If I use it with my weekly, if I use it with my daily, sometimes I don't use it at all, but it is a very helpful tool if you're not familiar with it. Okay, so I think we're finishing up here. All I'm gonna need to do is put like a little highlight here for the week. I need to add in some flowers, and then I need to, of course, change this green because this is not the right color. And I don't know, we'll see if there's any other things we want to do. So what I'm going to do is use my lasso tool with handwriting selected and copy all of this. And we are going to tap and change the color. And I'm just going to scroll down to the color of like the trees and the honey. And I think that's good, but I know I've said this before, you can always duplicate that and make it a little bit thicker in color, a little bit deeper. So you can just duplicate it and layer it on top and it'll be a little bit more true to the color you were going for. So totally up to you, but I see some things have gotten out of line here. They're not perfect, so I just resized that a little bit. If you're struggling with that, you can always start over and you could cut it and paste it if you want, or you could try the duplicating method. So I'm just gonna try to paste it on top again. And this time everything lines up really nicely. So I think it was just like a little glitch before. But I actually liked it better when it was lighter, so I'm gonna undo that. I just think that it looks nicer. Normally I do like it a little bit deeper, but I think for this color palette, it looks nicer with the lighter color. All right, so now let's add in some flowers and probably a few bees up here as well. So let's grab our bees and our flowers since they're all near each other. We can select everything. And of course, I need to make sure my images are turned on. So let's try that one more time. And we're going to copy this and just paste it. Perfect. And now I'm going to use my image tool and I am just going to kind of fill in these spots, you know, give myself some little bees around just as decoration. After all, it is the theme. And maybe like one more down here. And let's do the flowers. You guys know I love to have these kind of in the background. So I'm just going to copy and paste. I think they're a nice little filler element, and then I'll add the other flowers on top. And they just help to keep things looking nice. Okay, so those are good. And I always like to stagger them a little bit so they're at different height. And now we actually need to put these stickers on top. So let's paste them one more time. And if you want, you can, of course, use this sticker here where it's already kind of bunched together. And then I'm just gonna size that up a little bit. Just makes things easier, so I just made sure that the tape goes below there. And then I made sure that this flower here looks like it's ready for the bee to land on it. And now I'm just gonna start to fill in the rest. So just gonna do this, and I'll just speed through this so that you don't have to sit and watch me put all these into place. And one of the biggest things that I'm making sure of here is just that there's enough variation in the color. And then I also don't want it to be so incredibly full that there's like no space behind it. So some of these I might delete. I just think that they look a little bit more wild when there's a little bit of white space showing through. It's just a little bit more realistic. Okay, so now we've got this. This looks cute. Maybe I'll put another little bee here. I think I can get rid of these ones. And then I think I'm just going to add in a little bit of the pollen sort of like glitter that I have. So I'm going to copy these and I'm just going to paste these and I'm going to size them up just a little bit. And these personally, I love. I talked about these in the last one. I just think that they are the exact touch that you need sometimes. Like I can just throw this in over here and I think it just helps so much to add a little something to the space without it being like too much. I call it pollen, but it doesn't necessarily look like pollen, but that was kind of what it was inspired by and the reason I included it. But they're just little splattered bits. And I might throw some on top here for some pollen since we've got our little pollinator bee. And I'm gonna copy this one and paste it. Let's see, where do I want it? Might throw it on top there and do one more. Let's do a couple small ones. I'm just gonna use my image tool now and copy and paste this one. So I'm just gonna duplicate it. I always forget that I can duplicate because I've gotten so used to just copying and pasting. Maybe I'll put this one over the honey. And I do want this one a little bit bigger then. Okay, and then I think just one more. I don't want to do like too much, but I'm just going to duplicate this and kind of put it here at the bottom. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Let me just grab my highlighter and highlight this first week. So it's Monday. I want a smaller size. We'll do the medium size, which is 3.45 millimeters. And draw another one, and I'm going to make sure handwriting is turned on and select both of these and just change the color. And let's change the color, the light green maybe. Let's do the light green. I think that works. And yeah, this is nothing too crazy. If I wanted to, I could add in like a meal tracker or something, but realistically, I might not use that. We'll see how the month goes. If I decide to add it in, then I decide to add it in. But at this point, I probably don't think I'm going to use it as much as I would like to, so I'm not going to add it in now, but who knows, I guess you'll see in September if I ended up adding that. And then I'm just going to leave this scheduled part and the tasks part that I did last month just plain. I don't always make those categories, so I don't think I'm going to this time, especially because I have this here for my little extra organization, so I think that'll be enough in order to help me plan out my week. So I think this is pretty good. I think it's cute. I love the overall aesthetic of these stickers. I just think that no matter what you do, it's gonna look adorable. But yeah, that's all for this one. So if you guys do use these stickers and you want to share them with me, please reach out to me on either Etsy or Patreon or on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys create. It's one of my favorite things to see how you guys use these stickers in your planner, or if you have a YouTube channel like some of you do and you share them on YouTube, please be sure to tag me in it because it always brings me so much joy. Okay, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. You guys know that I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!